whoa.
What's the problem?
This
What's the matter?
This is not a Jet show.
So what?
So how about this?
Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Oh, come on. I don't want to hear this.
Why not? Super Bowl champions.
Doesn't matter. I just don't want to hear it.
What do you want to hear?
How about some Mets?
Hey, if I can find one good thing that happened to the Mets, here we go.
Home run. Mike Piazza. And the Mets lead 3-2.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be, I'm sorry. We all can't be like the Yankees.
Oh, speaking of.
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run. Don Mattingly.
No. God, I can't believe I just said that. All right, well, listen. How about a little Nets?
If I have to.
Kid, the jumper to win it. He got it.
I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. It's been a second. I can't take it. How about some Knicks?
Oh, yeah, big spenders. Can't win a playoff.
Fair enough.
Houston pops out up top, down the lane, running jumper off the front rim, and in.
I guess we should talk a little hockey, no?
People even watch hockey anymore?
They watch the Rangers.
Well, if you have the Rangers, you gotta have some Islanders.
Yeah, no, they didn't have YouTube in the 80s.
All right, let's get the show started.
Here we are, polar opposites.
Hello and welcome to the Polar Opposites show live here on Strong Island TV. You can also hear us on polaropposites.podbean.com, iHeartRadio. We're on TuneIn, we're on Spreaker, and you can follow us on the Twitter at PolarOpposites1. I'm Matt Stevens. Alongside me, as always,
It's Craig Moffett.
and Craig.
Maddie, it is the Polar Opposites holiday show.
It is indeed. It is our holiday
And
show.
what better way to have the holidays with
yes.
the Yule log right behind us?
Oh, indeed. It's lovely.
is
We thank you,
fantastic.
Strong Island TV, for the Yule log. It's the first time I've ever performed in front of a Yule log, and I'm very excited. Very excited.
We got a lot to do and not
Yes.
a lot of time to do it. The phone number to call is 516-945-9099. 516-945-9099. You want to talk Giants or Jets, Yankees or Mets, or Knicks or Nets, or whatever you can
Even hockey.
in the next hour.
You can talk hockey,
and
and
if-
we might not, but you can.
But this is a big day for the Islanders.
Yes.
Got the hat on today. They pretty much have the RFP to go to Belmont Park for an arena.
Yep. Good.
When that happens remains to be seen. But
Well-
they'll be bouncing around probably to a few different places. But call in if you want to talk. Whatever you want to talk about. We got about an hour. So here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, Maddie.
Yes.
First of all, with the holiday show, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and of course, Happy Festivus.
Indeed.
And in the spirit of Festivus,
Yes.
if you've seen the Seinfeld episode, for people who actually celebrate Festivus, who believe it's a holiday, we have to do the airing of grievances, right?
Well, I mean, but that's like a sports fan's Christmas is the airing of grievances. And so that's what we're going to do. Craig's going to take 3. I'm going to take 3. That's going to be our local 6 today. It's not necessarily local, but actually it all kind of is sort of local in a way, even though I do branch out a little bit and go from there. So Craig, why don't you begin? You had a hard year as a Jets, Mets, Islanders, Nets fan. Craig, why don't you start?
Okay, my first airing of grievances is going to be the Jets, but mainly 2 people.
Okay.
And that is Todd Bowles
Yes.
and Muhammad Wilkerson.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Bowles.
Sure.
Okay. On our podcast in the past, I have, pretty much backed Bowles. I don't mind having him back for another year. I think, for the most part, he's done a good job, even though the Jets have pretty much lost, 7 of 9, I think, as of now. They lost again on Sunday to the Saints. I mean, look, you knew the season was a bit of a wash and all that. What I can't stand about Todd Bowles is the no discipline of the team. The penalties are just ridiculous. And this is literally the 3rd game in a row, I think, where they've been called for 12 men on the field. And 12 men on the field to open a drive. On first down, they're called for 12 men on the field.
Yeah, that's...
Okay?
Yeah.
That is on the coach.
Yes.
I mean, the players should also know too, but it's also on the coach to know how many people are on the field when you're starting at first down. So, I mean, it's just these little, brain lapses they're just bothering me to the point where I'm starting to lose faith in Todd Bowles because you just keep seeing the same things every week. The team plays hard. I'm not saying they don't. But at the same time, though, these in-game coaching mistakes and just these mental errors when it comes to penalties and just how do you not know how many people are on the field? You have to know, right?
You would assume that, yes.
So in that sense, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is getting ridiculous because it's becoming a weekly thing. And by the way, in the Saints game, it happened twice.
Yeah, and you can't
Okay,
have it.
and that is inexcusable. Even for a head coach of a young team, it is inexcusable. You don't really see that on any team. You don't even see that on the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay, So the fact is, I'm sorry, but I respect Todd Bowles, and I've backed him pretty much for most of the year. But these brain lapses and just these inexcusable penalties are driving me crazy. Which segues to Muhammad Wilkerson. Late for another team meeting. Inactive on Sunday, which was a smart move by Bowles, and most likely will now be inactive for the rest of the season. So let's call it what it is. Muhammad Wilkerson is done with the Jets after this year. His salary becomes guaranteed on March 1st or March 5th, whatever the first day of the new league is, at $16.5 million. That's not going to happen. But it's just like you get this sense that he just doesn't care anymore. And I think that the Jets finally did the right thing. But it's, he comes into the year hopefully trying to make up for a bad season last year after the broken fibula and all that stuff. Saying he's going to be a leader, saying, he wants to lead the team and all that stuff. And basically he's leading the team in being late to team meetings. So in that sense, it just gets ridiculous after a while that these two guys, Wilkerson more than Bowles, for me, if you're going to be a leader, lead the team. But if you're just going to be showing up late all the time and then you're doing it on purpose, get the hell off my team. That's pretty much end of story. So my first area of grievances right now with the Jets, with Todd Bowles and Muhammad Wilkerson. Matty, yours.
My first is going back a little ways, and these aren't all necessarily new grievances. It's just the year of grievances, right? It's not necessarily this week. So my first one is James Dolan, and it's really simple. You did what everybody wanted you to do in hiring Phil Jackson. I don't remember anybody really being against that. Now, there were some people that were like, well, he's never been a GM before, so we don't know what to expect there. But at least as a basketball guy, he's going to be all right. It turned out to be kind of a nightmare, and you finally did fire him, which we do thank you for. But my grievance with you is this. You did it after the draft. You did it after all the free agency and all the major things that were happening. You did it then. You let the entire league believe that in the offseason you were going to run the triangle this season. And so no free agents came here because they were like, I don't want to run the triangle. I'm not running an offense from the 1840s. This is not going to happen. So they didn't come. And then you let him make the draft pick, and then when you hear rumors that he's shopping Porzingis, you almost let him trade Anthony, which thank God you didn't, because what the Knicks got for him was actually pretty good, turns out.
Yeah.
But you waited till after they draft, and he drafted a point guard. Now listen, this is not a knock on Frank. They might have drafted Frank no matter what. I'm not saying they would have or wouldn't have. I'm saying, though, that him being good in the triangle would not have been high on their list of characteristics of a player if Phil wasn't here. So you waited too long to fire him. You let him make the draft pick. You let him go basically through almost all of free agency, and then you're done. And then you're like, oh, we'll get rid of him now after everything's done, and we'll bring in a new guy, and he'll do some stuff, but he won't really be able to do anything. And so we are, I don't want to say stuck, because the Knicks are actually a little bit better. You sort of lucked into this one, right? Like you sort of lucked into it. It's like you tripped over and you fell in a pile of crap and then slid down a hill into a pile of gold. All right? So there you go. You won, but in the end, you really made a very poor decision, and you made the right decision. It was just too late.
My second area of grievances is Sandy Alderson, the GM of the Mets. Now, if you listened to our show last week, we ripped him last week too.
We could do an hour.
We could do
like 2 hours on this.
We could do like literally a mini series on killing Sandy Alderson. Here's the bottom line with Sandy Alderson that's bothering me. Listen, we get it. The Mets aren't going to spend money. We already know this is pretty much a done deal. If they do spend money, it's going to be in January, and they're going to wait for these guys to go down the cheap. To be very honest, I'm surprised that other free agents haven't signed already. Guys like J.D. Martinez, guys like Eric Hosmer, those guys haven't signed, which is a little surprising for me as we get towards the end of the new year into January. The problem I'm having with the Mets is that every time you hear them linked to a player, you automatically know nothing's going to happen because they're not going to give up what they need to give up. So last week it was Jason Kipnis,
yes,
which would have been a good deal, I think, for the Mets. I mean, I like Jason Kipnis. I think he's a good player. He didn't have the greatest year last year. I know he was hurt last year for a while, but he's a pretty solid player for the most part. He's an upgrade of what we would have at second base anyway.
Yes.
But the problem is that, again, everybody's skeptical about the Mets making a deal because what can they give up and what are they willing to give up? Now comes the latest story about the Mets being interested in Evan Longoria. But again, you have Sandy Alderson basically sitting there saying, well, we're not going to make any big moves. And then on top of that, you're joking around about after the Yankees got Giancarlo Stanton, that basically he's joking around saying, well, we had Brandon Nimmo as our right fielder, so we didn't think we needed an upgrade. It's embarrassing to the Met fan. It's insulting to the Met fan. And I'm starting to think that Sandy Alderson hates the Met fan base.
I don't mean to laugh. I
right?
don't mean to laugh. It's just, I don't know how people are still Mets fans. I don't understand.
So in that sense, again, but it's the same thing. And whether you want to blame the owners, that's fine. But Alderson also has the game plan. This is what he likes to do anyway.
Yeah.
So if the Wilpons don't like to spend money, neither does Alderson. So they're a marriage made in heaven.
Or hell.
So in that sense, look, I don't expect the Mets to be big players in free agency. However long Sandy Alderson is the general manager of this team, but I don't need the snarky comments. I don't need the condescending comments. I don't need the insults to the fan base, because they're the ones that buy the tickets at the end of the day. They're the ones that buy the season tickets. They buy all the Met gear. Okay, end of story. But I will say one thing. There was an interesting article today that basically said if the Mets aren't going to contend in 2018, which I don't think they will, they should consider trading Jacob deGrom now to get prospects.
Yeah, absolutely they should.
Right?
That makes perfect sense.
The thing is, by the time he's a free agent, he's going to be 30 years old, 31
Right.
years old, and you're not going to get him. You're not going to want to get him on an 8-year, however rich
Well, no,
contract you
but
want.
if you can send him to a team where he's controllable for another year past
yeah,
this
you're going to
year,
get a ton.
You're
going
going
to
get
a
lot
lot of good
prospects.
stuff back. So my second one is Sandy Alderson. Maddie?
My second one is the Giants, just as an organization. And I'm going to go back even further than this year, because I don't think this year was the problem. I think this year was the culmination of a terrible decision not made a couple years ago. Where I'm going back to is when they fired Tom Coughlin, which, if you listen to the show, we were on our show then. You can go back and listen to it now, polaropposites.podbean.com, and know that I was for the firing of Tom Coughlin. I thought it was time. 10 years, it had been long enough. I thought it was time for him to go and bring in some fresh blood and new life. I also wanted them to fire Jerry Reese, and they didn't, because Jerry Reese, up to that point, had not really done anything. Yes, they won 2 Super Bowls while he was the GM, but I think we can all agree the first one was more the former GM than the second one was more him. But still, if you look at his drafts, all of his drafts, they're not great. Yeah, he hit some players, absolutely. He hit Odell Beckham Jr. He hit a couple players. Justin Pugh, although he drafted Justin Pugh in like the 23rd pick, meant to be a tackle, he ends up being a guard, which is what usually happens to the Giants. They tackles and guards. But if you look at the amount of players that he's drafted that aren't even in the NFL, the number will shock you. And so they should have fired him when they fired Coughlin and just an entire new seed change. But they didn't want to do that because they had Ben McAdoo. They wanted him to be the coach. And they didn't want to, so they let Reese hire McAdoo, and then it became a whole thing. And now they're both gone, and it's 2 years too late. It's 2 years too late, because now we're in, and you can say the Giants have talent, and they do have some talented players. They do, don't get me wrong. But they have a huge cap number because of the amount of money Jerry Reese spent on that defense. And the fact that the owners did not make him once over the last 2 years address the offensive line in any significant way. That John Mara never once called down and say, hey, Jerry, do you think maybe you want to sign an offensive tackle at some point to protect Eli Manning? Do you want to do that? Or are you just going to be really stubborn with the guys you've drafted? Well, he was really stubborn with the guys he drafted, and they suck. Okay, they're terrible. They can't play, all right? Yeah, they can kind of play, but they can't really play, all right? So he's gone, but it should have been 2 years ago. It shouldn't have been now. And now you're 2 years behind the window. You're 2 years behind. The Eagles are up in front of you and significantly better at this point. The Cowboys make a couple adjustments on defense, and they're significantly better than you at this point. The Redskins are trapped in hell because their owner is an idiot, and so they'll always be bad. But the point is that you're 2 years behind the curve, and now you're screwed going forward.
My final area of grievances is a little bit of a surprise because there was such positive news today with the Islanders when it came to the arena.
Yes, indeed.
And it's a really, really good thing for this team to be having back on Long Island. Although I was a big fan of Barclays Center, I didn't really mind it too much. Although, again, it wasn't built for hockey. It was built more for the Brooklyn Nets.
And if you're a Mets fan, you can take revel in the fact that they beat out a Yankees bid because NYCFC is owned by the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean the arena that the soccer team won, I think, had more people.
Yeah, it was 25,000.
And they were
I think
there's going to be like retail stuff, and
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of similar with the Islanders arena. But my last area of grievances for me is GM Garth Snow, and here's the reason why. You now have the arena. Okay, within a few years, this arena is going to be built. I would say no later than 2020.
Okay.
Okay, like I'll give it 2 to 3 years, tops. You never know, like all the red tape that comes through with, hearings before they even get, shovel into the ground and all that stuff. It's time for the Islanders to stop messing with John Tavares and get him signed. Okay, he's a free agent after this year. The fact that this hasn't been done already is very worrisome for an Islander fan because, look, let's call it what it is. While the Islanders have money, at the same time, Toronto is ready to kind of swoop in and grab him. And if you get Tavares with Austin Matthews, that team is going to be elite going in for the next, and they'll give him the years. They'll give him the 8 to 10 years
John
he wants.
Tavares, 27?
I think he's like either 26 or 27.
Okay.
Okay. The thing is that he is the best player on the team. We already know that. He is a franchise player. He will sell tickets. No one else on the Islanders is going to sell tickets outside of John Tavares. Okay? But I just feel like Snow's dragging his feet too much. Like it's almost like he's waiting for the deal to fall into his lap. You don't want this going to July when they've all become free agents. You want to get this done now. You don't want to all of a sudden be worried by the trade deadline because he still hasn't really signed, he still hasn't really taken that step forward, or they still haven't come together to even discuss a contract extension, let alone that. And the last thing you want to do at the trade deadline is have that risky decision on whether you trade him to get prospects in the event you might lose him, or you let him ride out the year and then he bolts for another team anyway. It's time for Garth Snow and the Islanders to start thinking like a big-time franchise. They're a very good team this year. Okay, they're going to be back and forth with the Rangers, the Devils, the Blue Jackets, all that stuff. They're all going to be there throughout the whole season. It just, you see it. Every time there's a loss, a team drops down 2 spots. But when they win, they go back up 2 spots. That's how it's going to be all year. You know, the Islanders started by getting Jordan Eberle, but it's time to start getting, you know, a blue chip defenseman, a better defenseman, and on top of that, you got to get him signed. Because if you don't get him signed, then the arena is just basically pointless because no one's going to buy tickets for a team that's not going to be that good. And without that franchise player that's going to get people into the seats. So my last area of grievance is just a message to Garth Snow. Just suck it up, swallow your pride, just get this guy signed so Islander fans can breathe easy and know that when they get their new arena in 2020, John Tavares will be there for pretty much the rest of his career.
Can I ask a question real quick and then I'll get to my final one? Is this Tavares or is this the Islanders?
It's both.
Does he not want to sign? Or
I don't think it's what it is. I think at the end of the day he will sign. But it worries me that it's gone on this long. Now the thing is,
do you think he was waiting for the new stadium thing?
I think that was part of it.
Right.
Because listen, it's no secret that the issues at the Barclays Center, the players haven't been too thrilled with the Barclays Center in general, even though they're really good at the Barclays Center.
But the ice is apparently not great. And
yeah, apparently it's better this year than it was last
Right.
year, but the players still have issues with it in general. And then on top of that, it was the arena, but then it was the team around him. Now, they went out and got Eberle from the Oilers, and that's one of his best friends, so that was definitely a good start. They tried to get Duchesne, but they couldn't really get the deal together because they wanted Barzal, and Barzal's a lights-out hockey player that you just don't give up now. So at this point, you got to now show him that you're really serious about winning. Eberle's a start, but you got to get more.
Okay.
I think it's the only way that you're going to keep him here. But I think for the most part, now that this arena deal is pretty much a done deal, I don't think there's anything that's going to get in the way at this point. I think
if they give him the money in the years,
they just got to give him the years. Like Connor McDavid got, I think, a 13-year deal. He's one of the best players in hockey for the Oilers. The fact is, you're going to have to match that or come close to it to keep John Tavares there because many people argue that Tavares is better.
Huh? I don't know. I don't really watch, so I couldn't tell you that.
You
but
should,
I'll
man.
take your word for it. My last grievance is real simple. My last grievance is with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, you're bad at this. You're bad at being the owner of a baseball team. You're bad at it. And the thing that weirds me out about you being so bad at it is that you were a player. You should know how players want to be treated. You should know how you want to be talked to before you're being traded, or maybe just to have a discussion at all with the new ownership about where the future is going. Imagine for a second if after George Steinbrenner died, he didn't have kids, and his team got sold, and the Yankees got sold to some random guy, some random investment guy with a former baseball player named Cleric Meter. And he's the face of the franchise, and they come in, and your huge albatross contract is strangling the organization, and they just decide to trade you without. How would you have felt about that? You wouldn't have felt good, but that's exactly what you did. You don't know what you're doing. You really don't, and it's kind of amazing that you don't know what you're doing because you're dealing with players, and you were a player. The only thing I'm not going to agree with you about is that what we gave up for Stanton and how we got that deal. That I'm going to thank you for. Thank you for that, Derek.
Once a Yankee, always a Yankee.
Indeed. But my point is still this. My grievance with you is that your hubris and your sort of conceitedness as a player was fine because you were a winner and you were good at your job. You can't just walk into being an owner and be conceited and arrogant and think that the same pedantic, nonsensical answers you gave as a player will appease the people who pay to see your team. Your arrogance is getting in the way of you being good at this. And unfortunately, you're never going to change because you think you're Derek Jeter and that's all that you need when you walk in a room. And it's not. It's just not. You're not good at this. Sell the team to A-Rod and be done with it.
We forgot to mention the 2018 World Series champion New York Yankees.
No, we didn't. We didn't forget to do that at all. No, we didn't.
Oh, once they get Manny Machado, I mean.
They're not getting Manny Machado. Did
They're
you hear?
definitely getting Manny
No,
Machado. No.
Apparently the Orioles are are really trying very hard to make it so the Yankees don't get him this year.
Well, the thing I read about this is interesting because the Orioles may trade him to the White Sox, and then the White Sox may flip him to the Yankees to get more prospects.
Right, but they don't want to do that, which is why they don't want to trade him to the White Sox, because now the White Sox are going to do that.
He's going to the Yankees.
I don't think we need Manny Machado, but you ready to do a little halftime?
Yes, but before we do, again, the number to call is 516-945-9099. Craig, the Jets fan, Matt, the Giants fan, and Matty, let's do a little halftime. Halftime on the Polar Opposite Sports Show. 4 topics. Let's just get right into it. Here we go, Matty. Number 1, the Dodgers acquired Matt Kemp from the Braves for Scott Kazmir, Adrian Gonzalez, Brandon McCarthy, and Charlie Culberson. The trade helps both teams financially, especially the Dodgers, as it allows them to get under the luxury tax threshold to make a run at Bryce Harper or Manny Machado next season. As for the Braves, Kazmir and McCarthy will be free agents after the season, and the team has already waived Gonzalez as a condition to Gonzalez waiving his no-trade clause. Matty, did the Braves just help the Dodgers land Bryce Harper?
I don't think they needed to make this deal to land Bryce Harper if they really wanted him. I think it doesn't hurt because I think they're trying to do the same luxury nonsense that the Yankees are doing with getting under the luxury tax and all that crap. But I don't think having those players precluded the Dodgers from going out and spending more money. But it doesn't necessarily hurt their chances of doing it now either. Now, the interesting thing would be, what if they went and got both, right? What if this allowed them to go ahead and get both? And we'll see what happens. Here's one thing, and then I'll get to number 2 is, I think when people say that there's contracts are untradeable, I don't think that there's anything in Major League Baseball that you can call an untradeable contract at this point. If you get somebody like Adrian Gonzalez who's willing to work within that spectrum, I don't think anything is untradeable.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Kemp was actually on the Dodgers payroll.
Yes.
When he first got traded to the, was it the Padres?
Yes.
Okay, when he made the trade to the Padres, the Dodgers still had to pay Kemp anyway, and the Padres had to pay the Braves for Kemp after they traded him to Atlanta.
It's
right? And now you have, it's just very weird how this all goes around. Look, at the end of the day, I think it does help the Dodgers more because I think Bryce Harper to me seems more likely to go to a big market team. Now, obviously now with Stanton and Judge, the odds of him going to the Yankees are slim to none at best.
At best.
Okay, but the Dodgers look like they could be the favorites unless the Nationals decide to go in and give him a huge contract, which is always a possibility. He's not going to the Braves, but it'll help the Braves after next year to maybe sign a few free agents.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, listen, it's a win-win for both teams. I mean, Kemp is just going to be a very expensive 4th outfielder.
That's the way they like it. Number 2, Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis announced that he will not return to the team next season, which would have been the final year on his current contract. The Bengals are 5-9 after an embarrassing loss to the Vikings on Sunday. Lewis has been the Bengals coach since 2003. Oh my God. And while he has 123 regular season wins, he's 0-7 in the postseason. If you're a team looking for a head coach next season, is Marvin Lewis on your list of candidates? You took too long to answer that question.
No, he's not. And the reason why is for that exact reason. He's 0-7 in the postseason. He's really not that great of a coach. He just seems like another Wade
Phillips.
There
you go.
Or Rex Ryan. A very good defensive coordinator, not a good head coach. It is amazing he lasted as long in Cincinnati, but I think it was just a case of the owner really liking him and just not really wanting to let him go. Now here's the crazy thing though. There could be a lot of head coaching jobs open after the season ends next week. They could definitely take a flyer on him if they feel he just needs a change of scenery. But the thing is, if he's been a coach since 2003 with the Bengals, 14 years, and they've gone absolutely nowhere, and I mean nowhere. Okay, they haven't even made it out of the first round of the playoffs. There is no way a team could sit there and say, that's my guy. I have to have Marvin Lewis as my head coach. There's no way that it's possible unless you really think that he is that good and they just didn't give him the talent. But he had the talent in Cincinnati. He had a pretty good defense. He had Andy Dalton, who just got progressively worse as his career went on. And then on top of that, you had A.J. Green, one of the best receivers in the league, even though I kind of think he's a little overrated. The fact is, if he can't win a title or even get to the second round of the playoffs in 14 years, there's no way that I think that he could ever lead my team moving forward.
I wouldn't even interview him. Like, he wouldn't even be my ruining rule guy. Like, I would bring in anybody else.
But to me, that seems like the only way he would get an interview, I think, is just like the
right,
ruining
but why
rule.
would you even do it? You have 14, 13 years of evidence in front of you. Why not? Why you shouldn't do it? Don't do it. Guys, NFL teams, don't do it. 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 That's 6.
All right, number 3. Number 3, P.
Don't
Diddy
do it.
wants to buy the Carolina Panthers once owner Jerry Richardson puts them up for sale after the season. In an Instagram video posted to his account, Diddy said that if he became owner of the team, he would sign Colin Kaepernick and have him compete with Cam Newton. And also said the Panthers would have the best halftime shows in the NFL. That I can't disagree with. The Panthers are currently valued at $2 billion. And while Diddy would want to be a majority owner, Steph Curry and Kaepernick himself are interested in joining as investors. Maddie, do you think Diddy is serious about owning the Panthers, or is this just a lame attempt to get Kaepernick signed?
Oh, no. I think he's absolutely serious about this. And folks, you better watch out in sports, guys. Old white men, you better watch out, because there's a lot of young black guys with tons of cash, and they're going to buy these teams, and they're going to change the way this works. Okay, they're going to actually turn it into entertainment instead of just putting money into their pockets while they talk about player safety and have Thursday night games for no reason. The one thing I will say is this: Colin Kaepernick already should be Cam Newton's backup. Like, if you got, like, if
No, it's competition.
No, I get it.
He's
yes.
not beating
yes.
out
I
Cam
get it.
Newton.
No, I get it. But I'm saying that, like, he should already be, I mean, like, if you could think of a quarterback that should pack up Cam Newton, it should be Colin Kaepernick. And he's not, for obvious reasons. We know why. But the thing is this, is that Diddy will do it. He's got I'm sure he can get the money together. It's nothing. You got Steph Curry making billions of dollars with Under Armour. You got Kaepernick. You got all these guys. You get it together and you buy this team and you go crazy. And you make the halftime show is amazing. And I wouldn't be a Panthers fan because screw that team. But whatever. That's not how it goes. But still, it would be fun, and I hope he buys the team. The problem is going to be this. Are there going to be the majority of owners going to be like, yeah, let's bring P. Diddy into the mix? That's going to be the problem. Like, if there's competing, like if there's competition, and one of the things is like by Billy Joe Jim Bob McGuire, he's got billions of dollars, and then P. Diddy, who do you think they're going
So you
with?
think it's a good old boys club?
Of course it is.
You're probably right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Here's the thing. It would be fun to have Diddy as an owner of a team, because I think he would do good things for that franchise in general, and he would make, listen, the Carolina Panthers are a very strong franchise with what they're valued at, but Diddy would only make it more valuable because he's P. Diddy. At the same time, though, I've said it once, a few times on past podcasts we've had about Kaepernick. I'm not saying you don't sign him. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, he's definitely gotten a raw deal to an extent. Okay, but at the end of the day, signing him now may be worse than not signing him, because if you do sign him, you kind of fear the worst. It could be something as horrible as a bomb threat or a death threat or anything like that, and then it's going to scare people away from going to the stadium and buying tickets. I'm not saying don't sign him, because like I said, I think Kaepernick deserves a job at this point. And I think he deserves to be
Newton
a quarterback.
is the perfect job
now,
for him.
Whether he's a starter or a backup is whatever. That's up to the team. But I think at the end of the day, it's starting to get to a point where I feel like it's becoming worse. It's going to become worse by signing him than not signing him. That being said, though, I just hope some team gives him a chance, because he has gotten a bit of a raw deal.
It probably won't happen. Number 4, the Jaguars have made the playoffs for the first time since 2007, and while their defense has been dominant, a huge December from QB Blake Bortles has played a role as well. The Jags QB has completed over 70% of his passes with 7 touchdowns and no picks this month. But outside one good month, Bortles has been shaky at best and prone to turnovers. The Jaguars have already picked up his option for next season at $19 million, but he will be an unrestricted free agent after next season, and no talk of an extension has taken place. Craig, should the Jags sign Bortles to an extension now or let him play out the option next season?
Well, the Jags will probably have a lot of cap room anyway next year. I would let him play out the option because, to be honest, I can't say for certain if Blake Bortles is a good quarterback. I think that while he's having a great December and the Jaguars got to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, the fact is he's had a lot of bad games too. And I think by signing him to an extension now, you could risk that. The Jags are not the greatest offensive team. You know, the Jaguars have won a lot of their games on defense, in my opinion. This has just been 1 month of good Blake Bortles, never mind the 2 or 3 months of bad Blake Bortles.
Right.
So in that sense, it's very risky to me. $19 million seems like a lot of money for a year, but I think I'd rather roll the dice on a $19 million contract for this year coming up or next year coming up. And then I know if he's not that good, I know I can just kind of cut my losses and move on after next year. Listen, you got to love the fact that Jags, it's nice to see some new blood in the playoffs, especially the Jags being a possible number 3 seed and winning the AFC South title. But at this point, I've still not seen enough out of Blake Bortles. It's almost like he has a good month and then everyone forgets about what he did before that. So you can't really, I'm not convinced yet as Blake Bortles. Now, if he does well in the postseason, I may rethink it a little bit. But at the same time, everyone forgets the 3 months before when he was horrible, or training camp when he was awful, or last year when he was awful.
3 years before.
Yeah. So you can't base it on a month. But I would let him play out the option. If he stinks, you get rid of him, and you just cut your losses from that point.
You watch enough football to know that a person is a person after you've seen that person for more than 2 seasons. And Blake Bortles is what he is. He's not going to change. He is what he is. He's a turnover machine. He'll have good games and he'll run off good stretches, but he won't be consistently good, and he won't be good for an entire season. He's never going to be Tom Brady. He's never going to be any of them. He's never going to be even, I don't know, pick a second-level guy that you can think of. Joe Flacco. No, he's probably exactly Joe Flacco, but that's besides the point. So even no matter what he does during the thing, no matter what he does during the playoffs, you don't bring him back because he's never going to be a consistently good quarterback. And if your defense doesn't play like this, you're not going to the playoffs with him, and that's what you need in the NFL right now.
Halftime is officially over. We are the polar opposites. He is Matt the Yankee fan. I am Craig the painfully devoted Mets fan. Call us if you want to talk sports, 516-945-9099. Again, 516-945-9099 if you want to talk Yankees or Mets, Giants or Jets, Knicks or Nets, or anything else. We got about 20 minutes until the end of the show. But what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little different.
Yes.
Now, the last time we were on Strong Island TV,
Yes.
we introduced the buzzer and the bell.
Yes.
Okay? We were talking about the 10 steps that the Giants needed. It's a little early. Okay?
I know. I'm letting them know what they sound like.
I'll give you the buzzer test.
I'm just
all right,
saying,
man?
I'm letting them know what it sounds like.
Very rude, man.
I'd love
Just
that's
saying.
exactly what I am.
Now, the last time we did this, we did the 10 steps, the 10 things
Yes, I
the
hate
Giants
about the
needed
Giants.
to do to win a title. Matt had no idea what they were, and that made this segment all the more delicious because Matt got more angry as the numbers went on.
Everybody loves
So here's what we decided to do for this one. We're going to do a little different. This is not a sports-related one now. We're going to talk about Christmas movies that people don't think are Christmas movies. So I have 10 right now. Maddie's got the buzzer and the bell. Maddie has no clue what movies I'm going to name. So let's see what we think Christmas movies.
So buzzer is I disagree that it's a Christmas movie, and bell is I agree that it is a
Yes.
Christmas movie.
Now,
Okay.
for example,
Yes.
Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, Home Alone,
Go ahead.
Elf.
Now those are both
no
Christmas
to Home-
movies.
No to Home Alone?
No, yes to Home Alone. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Elf. Okay. Now we got that working. You want to do the buzzer check one more time? You
No,
ready
I'm
to
good.
rock?
We're good to go.
Okay, I'm going to start from 10 to 1. Now, this is also coming from a list courtesy of Maxim Magazine.
Okay. Thank God
Okay.
for Maxim Magazine.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 10. Batman Returns.
Oh.
Really?
Absolutely a
Really?
Christmas movie.
I was
without
so
a
thinking you were
doubt
gonna do
a
the
Christmas
buzzer.
movie. No way.
Why?
Because first of all,
First of all, all right, before you give me a reason,
Yes.
I want you to tell our viewers, listeners, what you think constitutes a Christmas movie. And it doesn't necessarily have to be family friendly.
No, it has to take place during Christmas, okay? It has to involve Christmas themes, and it has to, you have to get a sense that Christmas is happening in the city that you're in.
Okay.
right? And Batman Returns is the second one with the Michael Keaton. That's the Michael Keaton Batman. And it totally is Christmas presents. There's the whole thing where they're giving out the gifts and they're doing all sorts of stuff. They have Christmas balls and not like those, you mean like dances, balls. They have those sorts of stuff. So absolutely, and mistletoe.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
deadly when you eat it. Come on, Christmas movie.
Okay.
Do it.
Number 9.
Yes.
Rocky 4.
No.
Now, here's the thing.
No.
Okay, tell me why. Now,
Because
it
yes,
takes place. The
yeah.
fight takes place on Christmas Day.
Yes, it does. But it's a boxing movie that takes place during Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie that has a boxing match in it. Does that make sense? It's all about the match. It's not about Christmas and him fighting. It's about the match that takes place at Christmas. And the only reason they did that is so they could have him running through snow during the freaking montage.
Okay. Number 8.
No.
Bad Santa.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you may not agree with it, but it doesn't have to be happy. It doesn't, I mean, It's a Wonderful Life isn't necessarily a happy movie, right?
Until the end.
Right, well, right.
But it takes 3 hours to get there.
Right, and it's awful.
No, it's not. It's actually a very good movie.
No,
but
it's not. There's no way
yes,
that's
it
true.
is.
I've never seen it, but there's no way that's true. But besides the point, Bad Santa, yes, it's a Christmas movie. Just because it's lewd and disgusting or whatever doesn't mean it's not a Christmas movie.
It takes place during Christmas,
And
during
it's
the holiday
about a
season,
Santa Claus.
and an elf.
Yeah.
Who rip off a
Total Christmas movie.
All right, number 7.
Yes.
Krampus.
Yes. Again, the Krampus, I believe, I've never seen this film, but it is a Christmas legend, right? This evil sort of Santa that comes out and kills people.
It is about a boy who wishes that he didn't celebrate Christmas because his family is always, they're just really weird and shady and all that stuff. And what he does is, when he says that, he awakens an evil spirit that starts picking off the family one by one.
Total Christmas movie. Just like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Which is number 6.
Oh.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. There we go. Thank you. You know what's
Which
funny?
has one of the best ever things in it, where the person's going down the hill on a sleigh. Santa is going down the hill on a sled, and all of a sudden you hear thump, and all of a sudden you see the sled come down with the body, and then the head sort of bouncing behind it,
Do you
and
know how
it
many
is
people,
awesome.
You know how many people don't agree that that's a
That's
Christmas
because
movie?
those people are stupid. Because they think that Christmas movies have to be, oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's like, oh, we're the land of misfit toys. No, not all Christmas. By the way, that movie is an acid trip. Watch that movie now. It freaks you out. That movie is freaky.
That's why they play it every year on CBS.
Oh, we're nobody wants a
That was
Charlie
in
in
like
the box.
1967.
Yeah,
I
but it
mean,
was still a trippy movie, dude. That I don't know. That scares the hell out of
thank
children.
God someone finally said Silent Night, Deadly
Oh,
Night.
it's
a Christmas
great.
movie.
I used to watch that all the time as a kid when I was a Christmas movie.
It's a
phenomenal.
crazy movie, but I
It's
mean,
not happy. It's called Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, God, people, come on.
okay, number 5.
Yes.
The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's an interesting one, huh? Because it takes place on Halloween,
Yes.
and the plan is about destroying Christmas. So
Yes.
technically, it
I'm
caters to
gonna
2 holidays.
say no. And I'm gonna say no because
It's more of a Halloween movie.
yes, it's a Halloween movie. Now, if they made the sequel to it, where he actually tries the plan to destroy Christmas,
They're not making a sequel. You can't make a sequel to this movie.
but I'm just saying, if they did that, then that would be a Christmas movie.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Give me the next one.
Number 4, The Ref.
Absolute Christmas movie.
And that is one of the best Christmas movies. As
Phenomenal.
Far as I'm
If you've
concerned.
never
It's
seen it-
hilarious from start to finish.
Now, it's a little tough right now because Kevin Spacey's in it with him all the touching young boys thing going on. You don't really want to watch it, and that's fine. But it's also got some other really good people in it, and it's actually a really good film. You should check it out. And it's funny, and it's good, and it is a Christmas movie. And that's all I have to say.
Watch it. It is definitely probably one of the best. It's one of the best Christmas movies. Hey, what happened to the Yule log?
I don't know. The Yule log is logged.
I guess it went out.
Yeah, it's all right. That was who's the
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary. Thank you. There we go.
Totally made
Yes,
that
fantastic
whole movie from
movie.
start to finish. All right, number 3, Gremlins.
Oh,
Really?
absolutely. Gremlins is a Christmas movie, folks. Let me just tell you something, okay? The Gremlin is a Christmas gift. Okay? It's a Christmas gift. The catalyst, the movie doesn't happen. Now, it could have been a birthday movie, but they decided to make it a Christmas, which makes it a Christmas movie because it was a Christmas gift. And then all hell breaks loose. It's fantastic.
All right, number 2.
Do it.
Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
See, no,
This one rides the fence very closely because although it does take place during Christmas, and Christmas is a theme, Christmas is not the main theme. It is not the catalyst for the movie.
but here's the thing, though. The opening scene, Jingle Bell Rock, when the
Yeah,
girl
no,
throws herself off the
listen.
building. Wait, and then I remembered another scene when Mel Gibson's character is doing an undercover deal at a Christmas tree lot.
Yeah, there's many references to Christmas. I'm not saying that. Like there's when Gary Busey breaks in the house at the end, that he's watching the movie. He's like, "The day is Christmas," and he slams a Christmas. It is totally a Christmas movie. But again, you understand what I'm saying? Like it's a Christmas movie in the fact that it takes place during Christmas and Christmas is a theme, but Christmas does not drive the movie. That movie could have happened any time of year. It could have been an Easter movie for all we know.
Gary Busey was such a badass
Oh, he's
villain
great.
in that movie, but then you look at him now and he's
Oh,
just like a complete disaster.
He looks like a crazy homeless person. I know what the last one is.
Number 1.
Yes.
I should have had you put the audio from Die Hard. Thank you.
Folks, first of all, when people say it's not a Christmas movie, is Office Christmas Party a Christmas movie? Is it? Because if it is, then Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Because it takes place where? At a Christmas party. It takes place at a Christmas party on the 30th floor of the Nakatomi Plaza building, all right?
On Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve. He flies there with a big stupid doll. They're
Anyway.
listening to Christmas in Hollis, which might be the greatest Christmas song ever written, ever.
And the ending, Let It Snow, to close out the
Right.
movie.
And ho, ho, ho. I mean,
Now,
come
now
on.
I have a machine gun. Ho,
Stop,
ho, ho.
folks. Stop.
The Merry Christmas tape that he has to the gun on his back.
Guys, it is such a Christmas movie. You're trying to pigeonhole Christmas movies, but the Christmas movie can be anything. It can be anything. And stop doing that because Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever, next to Scrooged.
Okay, we have a couple of really quick ones.
Yeah, do it.
Here are a few that didn't make the list.
I'm not going to do bells and buzzers. We're just going to.
Okay, Less Than Zero.
No. No. No way.
Why?
It's just not.
It takes place during the
doesn't.
holidays.
It doesn't. But it's not a theme, and it takes place over many months, over many. It doesn't take place over 1 week. It takes place over time.
Well, no. Eventually, it takes place during the holidays,
no,
though.
No.
Okay, Edward Scissorhands.
No.
Crap. I had one more and I completely forgot.
It's all right. It's time for Polar Bipolar.
I know. I just wanted to squeeze it in.
You got one more? You don't want? You can't remember the last one? Come on.
I'm trying to think of it.
Think.
It's killing me. Eyes Wide Shut.
No. What? That weird,
Eyes
stupid
Wide Shut.
group sex movie with Tom Cruise?
It was.
Is that the movie?
This
Is that
one-
that movie?
Yeah, this is one of them.
No.
This
stop.
is one.
Stop. Maxim Magazine. You're drunk. Go home. You're drunk. Go home.
We are the polar opposites. Again, give us a call, 516-945-9099. We got about 10 minutes left before the end of the show. 516-945-9099. Maddie, let's finish it up. Hopefully we get a call, but if not, let's do a little polar bipolar. Polar bipolar rounds out the show for this week, our final show for 2017.
Mazel
Right?
tov.
It is 10 topics. Polar, you agree. Bipolar, you disagree. And like I said, Maddie tends to get this all mixed up, so let's see if he can go keep the streak alive.
Let's see.
Maddie, are you ready?
Oh!
All right, Maddie, number 1,
Yes.
polar or bipolar. It's time for the Bengals to see what they have in A.J. McCarron before next season.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Is there 2 games left? 3 games left? 2 games left?
I'm
Something
talking
like
about a guy
that.
that's got a raw deal.
Oh yeah, just let him either that or let him go. But you have to see what he has. You know what Andy Dalton is. He's not anything exciting or good or great for your team. So just get rid of him. You're better off just letting A.J. McCarron even play next year if you want to, but you have to see what you have because it makes no sense otherwise. Number 2, Hugh Jackson's comments towards DeShone Kizer were not wrong, but still unfair to the QB.
I'm going to say polar, and when I first read the comments, I thought he was kind of ripping DeShone Kizer, but then he kind of backtracked at the same time and was saying he doesn't know if he's going to get it, but he thinks he will. They left that part out.
They
Now
always
listen, DeShone Kizer, he got put into a really rough situation this year. He's a 3rd-round pick. He's very raw. He still he has a lot to learn. And I mean, granted, he beat out the other quarterbacks, which says a mouthful about the quarterbacks on the Browns roster. Okay, but the fact is he was not ready to be a starting quarterback on this team with the lack of talent they had. Now, Jackson's comments, I think, he wasn't out of line when he said it, because I think he was also just frustrated because you just keep seeing the same things over and over, turnovers and all that stuff. But he also backs him at the same time. But I think Hugh Jackson's in a really weird spot, because while right now he got the dreaded vote of confidence from the owner, there's no guarantee he's going to be the coach of this team next year. So I think he has to keep it neutral when it comes to DeShone Kizer. You don't want to show too much, because then it could affect your relationship if the Browns draft a quarterback #1 overall. So again, I think he wasn't wrong with what he said. I don't necessarily think he was out of line, but maybe it was a little unfair because Kizer just got thrown into the worst possible situation he could have. Number 3, Matty, polar or bipolar, the balance of power in the AFC will not return to normal until Tom Brady retires.
Apparently it's polar. We all thought it would not be polar, but apparently it's polar, and it's never going to change, and he may play forever, so we may just have to watch this forever. It's never going to change. And here's the thing, folks. Here's what you want. You want to know the scarier thing? What if it's not Tom Brady? What if it's Bill Belichick, and he wants to keep coaching, and Tom Brady retires, and they bring in some rando quarterback that becomes Tom Brady again, and they just keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. It may never change. The only thing that will save us is the New York Football Giants.
Quickly,
Yeah.
do you think that was a catch?
Yes, absolutely. Totally was a catch. We don't know what a catch is. The NFL is screwed.
And you haven't lived until you've seen hear Riveron's explanation.
Oh, it's
It
nonsense.
sounds robotic. It sounds like something like a telemarketer would call
It's
you.
nonsense. Listen, he had enough of a football move he could have just crumbled at the 1, but instead he readjusted himself in like mid-knee bend and went over the line. It's nonsense. Number 4, the offensive coordinators need to stop having conservative game plans when dealing with young QBs.
This is absolutely polar in my opinion. I'm going to take the Jet game as a perfect example. Okay, you don't know what you have in Bryce Petty, and most likely he's not going to be the starting quarterback of the Jets next year, right? But the fact is that you have nothing to lose by letting him go out there and just sling it. If he throws a pick, he throws a pick. If he throws a touchdown, then you look like a genius. The problem with offensive coordinators in the NFL in general is that they tend to overthink everything. They automatically assume they have to protect the kid. Bryce Petty is not a rookie. He's been in the league for a couple of years now, okay? And the thing is that you can't keep having these conservative game plans, because then it looks like your team doesn't want to win and your players aren't going to try hard because, and you made a good point before we even started the show outside, defenses pretty much know what you're going to run at that point because they know you don't have the stones to throw deep or try some trick plays or do something with it. Offensive coordinators have to stop doing this because it's not really helping them, it's more hindering them. I think. I'd rather see the kid make mistakes, but build off it and learn from it, than just keep kind of protecting him with little short dink and dunk passes that may boost his confidence a little bit, but it's not going to do much for him pretty much in general. Number 5, Matty, polar or bipolar, the Red Sox lack of response to the Yankees getting Giancarlo Stanton is surprising.
I don't think it's surprising. If they don't do anything, it'll be totally surprising, but I don't think it's surprising yet. I think they're trying to sign JD Martinez and Eric Hosmer, and that would be a great response to it. But I think if we get to spring training and they haven't done anything, it'll be very surprising. But I think that they haven't done anything right away is actually smart, because you don't want to operate on a hair trigger. You want to make informed decisions based off the best things available and not just do things off the cuff.
And now there's been talk that the Red Sox are no longer interested in Eric Hosmer,
Which,
he might go back to Kansas City now.
well, that's the best place for him. Number 6, the Angels have gotten better with the moves they've made. Haven't gotten better.
Not for the love of
They
God.
haven't gotten better with the moves they've made.
I'm going to say polar. I don't really like a lot of the moves they made. I mean, they signed a lot of older players like Zach Cozart, and they got somebody else, and I can't remember, besides Ohtani. And I can't remember who else was the other guy they got for their, Ian Kinsler. They just got Ian Kinsler in a trade. These guys are all getting older, where I think the Angels should be getting a little younger. And as I said it, we've said it 100 times over, the Angels should be focusing on getting pitching. Okay, I mean, especially now that you know that Ohtani has a slight tear, like very similar to Tanaka. But the Angels have never really addressed their starting rotation, and now you have a couple of older players on this team. I don't necessarily think Cozart and Kinsler make this team that much better where they're going to contend. I understand you're trying to build a team around Mike Trout, build a lineup around Mike Trout, but to me, I just don't really think they've gotten 100% better, and I'm not sure they're any better than the Texas Rangers or even the Seattle Mariners, to be honest. Number 7, Matty, polar or bipolar, the excuse, my account got hacked, is becoming a bit too convenient for celebrities whenever something embarrassing happens to them on social media.
Well, look, nobody's buying it because we're not stupid. We know what happens when your account gets hacked.
Now,
Okay?
you know the story, though, right?
Yeah, it
About
doesn't
James
matter
Brown.
who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Stop saying it because We are all better. 10 years ago, this excuse worked. It doesn't work anymore. Stop using it. You know why? Because it doesn't work, and we all think you're an idiot anyway. Just come out and be like, I'm a pervert. I like to send naked pictures to people. Okay, just do that. Your life will be a lot easier. I promise.
Do you think James Brown's account got hacked? Did he
No,
potentially
he
download?
totally was downloading porn the same way Ted Cruz was watching incest porn. It's all the same. Number 8, people need to relax about how good Star Wars The Last Jedi was.
This is polar for me. Now, listen, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan like some of the other Star Wars geeks. I know you're wearing a Star Wars shirt or whatever. But the fact is, I just don't think it. I thought the movie was very good, but people are acting like it was like the greatest movie ever, and that's where I kind of draw the line. But again, I'm not as huge of a fan as a lot of other people are. People are like, I've known people that have seen the movie 3 times in 3 days. And that's where I draw the line. Okay?
That's a lot of fun.
Now listen, it's a good movie. It was very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as Star Wars or The Empire Strikes Back or any of these other movies. But again, people are making just way too big of a deal out of this movie. And it drives me crazy because people really get offended. It's like when you talk politics with people that love Trump. They get so offended when you don't agree with them, and then they fight with you tooth and nail. In a weird way, it's not as bad as that, but it's close. Because if you don't like Star Wars as much as other people do, I think people get borderline offended. I really do.
People are idiots.
Maddie, number 9,
Yeah.
polar or bipolar. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
No, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to shut up and let me live in silence. That's the best way to do it. Shut up and live in silence.
I knew this would be the perfect movie.
Shut up and live in silence. Number 10, it's time to retire. Oh my God. It's time to retire the 24 hours of A Christmas Story marathon that plays on Christmas Eve into Christmas Day.
I'm gonna say polar. I like A Christmas Story. It's a good movie. And then they had the awful musical on Sunday night. That was pretty bad. But the thing is just like watching it every year for 24 hours straight. Now, granted, nobody watches 24 hours straight.
I hope not.
Right? But how about 24 hours of Die Hard? How about
They're not going to do
But
that.
they should.
Why?
They should.
Nah, I
but
mean, I guess.
okay, then have a marathon of Christmas movies that people don't think are Christmas movies,
Well,
right?
but that's the one they like.
So, and that's yes, I think they should. I mean, listen, I don't mind you playing it on Christmas Day, but having it straight for 24 hours every year, I mean, to me, it's become tiresome. It's
Yeah,
not
but-
as funny as it
but-
used to be
but it's-
because you see the same things every
But
year.
you're introducing it to new generations every year. So that's why they keep doing
It's the
it.
same generation that watches
Well,
it, though.
no, but you're introducing it to new people.
But it's like when people come up to me or people are talking to me like, oh, Fragile. It's not as funny as it was 2 years ago.
Well,
or
it's
3 years
Italian. See? Still funny. Boom! Just disproved your theory right there on live TV, Strong Island TV. You just witnessed the disproving. Biggity
Touche.
bam.
And with that, Polar Bipolar is officially over, and the final episode of Polar Opposites of 2017 is over.
Yes.
We'd like to thank everybody for watching us on Strong Island TV. Everybody who downloads our podcast on Podbean.com, iTunes, Spreaker.com, TuneIn Radio, and anywhere else you can find it. We will be back on Strong Island TV in 2018 on Tuesday night, January 2nd, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on StrongIsland.tv. Everybody, Merry Christmas. If you were Jewish, hope you had a nice Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. And of course, Happy Festivus and Happy New Year. And we will talk to you again in 2018.
Bye.